Okay, now this will be the Warrens. Let's go. So when I channeled the Tigers, I was going to channel the. This is a while. Well, when this gets uploaded, it'll be a while back. So I did. I was going to Warren Tigers, but the Syrian Tigers came in instead. So that was weird. And I just felt stay away from the Warrens. So, but not all. So putting it out there. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We are the Larens. We are also connected to reptilian beings. Half feline, half reptilian. As some of you see felines that look reptilian-like. We combine our energies with them and became a warrior race. To give you more understanding of where we come from, as we have mastered DNA structure, we have not mastered sanity, though. When you take a reptilian and add it to a feline, you create something that is insane, at least in the beginning. Now, you can say that a lot of the old Lyran ways have been wiped out. Not really, but some beings would say the Lyrans are practically extinct. That's not true, but there is word out there. Many just want to say that. It's like some here with racial issues do the same thing. So, why our race was created? To fight other races, to end the war. But instead, we started a war instead. We're ourselves. And much of us are on your planet at this time. And yes, we are called politicians on your planet. And yes, we did cause a lot of difficulties for Atlanteans because they cannot see through us. They cannot predict of what we can do. As yes, we have shape-shifting capabilities and mind control abilities. Where Atlanteans, now we were quiet for a very long time. We did not really mess with your world. But when we got Atlantean technologies ourselves, because they were just giving it out like candy, we used it on ourselves. So eventually you will see more of our presence little by little. Okay, maybe not on a large scale, but a feline reptilian being is going to have to become part of your psyche. It's time for you to know the real side of your planet. It is, yes, a difficult place. I mean, if you really want to unravel your planet, as our beings, yes, we are a feline. What do you call it? Yes, we have lion and tiger and reptilian, but or crocodile, you can say, mixed in. So when we made this discovery, some beings weaponized us. It is for your world to start understanding the true core of your Earth, though. I mean, do you really want to know how this planet is put together? Yes, bizarre in word, but some of you can sense our presence. We're not exactly the nicest beings either. So trade of this connection, and there are millions of us, not just a few, of a mixture between feline and reptilian. So we almost made that, you could say, for your world, it has to happen here too. Meaning, if you're going to have animals here, they have to have some reptilian connected to them. So, that is true. There is a squid brain. A lot of humans had squid type of brains in your past. You're loving that, aren't you? Yes, that's very The squid is just a very advanced being because their minds are just very active. Even our Tarians have squid-type brains if they're in the third dimension or fourth dimension, for that matter. It's a brain that can totally map out everything, and yours can do the same thing. It just does it differently. So yours is made into like a reptilian form, but is it made by the reptilians? Well, some will say yes, some will say no. It was made in our honor. But a reptilian feline being is not something to. We're not exactly the easiest beings to ask for dinner. But we do put markings on your planet of our existence, as we are warriors of your earth and ones that do not mess around. We are not necessarily a warrior race. We are others are threatened by us, but we're kind of like you could say a distant cousin of yours, as you have been mutated yourselves, as you can see, due to your biology. So are you that much different than us? I mean, with feline and reptilian put together, create like a super being. And I didn't go into this detail though. I mean, yes, you can see a feline with reptilian type of attributes, and also see a reptilian with same, vice versa. But also a human wherein that was developed with feline and reptilian connected, which is it's in disguise technically, and also a problem for your world. As many Wyrens came here to assist humanity in its past, a friendly face, without the beings knowing. Well, some of them were very psychic and connect. We were not the easiest ones to connect with psychically. Aliens felt blockages from us. They cannot see our energy. So that's how we got away with things in your past. By finding a way to cloak it. And we weren't even trying to do it. We just did it on accident sometimes. Of course, it's done on purpose afterwards, of course. So we create our own cloaking device as a being. And some of you have that too. So that was different. Feline channeling. Here, I'll just put this out there. Daylight's changed this and it's moved around. Something like that. I don't get the best energy from Wero. Not to say it's all bad, but it's all great either. So I'm going to explore that. It just seemed like we'll just bring somebody in for that. Yeah, it's just weird. Because most of the cats, not all cats, this is not the easiest. All right, so if, the lions I feel like are from Wero, but not all of them. But most of them are. Tigers are also, but not all of them. But it feels like obviously they come from everywhere, but the ones a lot of them come from Sirius also. I mean, either way, there's a big presence from Sirius. It feels like they come from all over the place, actually. Whereas got some problems. But when I connect to Sirius, I get a whole different energy than I get from Where. And there's like some snobbery there from what I'm gathering. Let's put it that way. Yeah, they're not well, it's just either way, like the domestic cats are from Sirius. Most of them at least. And they're like little cat aliens. I mean I think it's like a cartoon that's like that, where they basically just have a regular domestic cat walking around with 2 feet. Like a person. Yeah. Yeah. Little cat guys. I think I forget. think it was a cougar. I think it was a cougar, where a lot of domestic cats get their cat ways from. There was another cheetah was one too. So anyway, obviously it's a mixture of all of them, but you know, anyway, some have a cat complex from Wira. Yeah, I feel like not all, of course, but a lot of them are snobbish. So blessings for you. Greetings to you. We are the Palladians. We are the Blue Palladians. Greetings to your society. Your feline, yes, of Wira, are known to be, yes, mind controllers. Well, they've been through a great deal. Yes, Wira was destroyed. That's true, but also they have other planets that have been destroyed also. Some of it has to do with their own doing. So they are part of the human collective here. And yes, you can say they got a little bit snobbish over that, where now the human's been taken from their version of human. It's like human is like a version of a, I remember this analogy is used before, like a car, but it's a good analogy though. Alien beings create their own version of human. Tarians do it. Palladians do it. Wirans do it. Wirans are part, you can say the version they made was very unique compared to others. Orions have made it. Actually, early humans are actually early Orion humans. But a lot of the Wiran energies came in to perfect it even more. So the Wirans feel they own this planet also. And they don't like reptilians very much. They've also just destroyed a lot of reptilian planets. They've gotten kind of out of hand also. Why? They feel like they are the king of the universe. As you hear, king of the jungle. Now, there are also different cat beings. Now, cat beings, like you have your cougar, you have your cheetah, you have all these different tigers and all of this. They're all their own royalty, actually. Now, cheetah's not the whole royalty thing, even the panther. But they do have their own kingdoms. And you're going to recognize that more in your own energy. Some of them are still going through, some of them have an authority complex. At least your Wirans do. Of like, they are gods of the universe. And them and the reptilians joined each other at one time. They fought each other, destroyed each other, done everything together. So there's always going to be a back and forth. Now, not between all felines and reptilians, but it's normally between the Wirans and the reptilians. Who is better? And normally they both say they both are. It's a war that will never end. So a lot of the negativity on your planet comes from them, as they added a lot to your growth. And with that, they feel like they had authority over humans. When the Atlanteans were invited here, actually it was through their Orions. It's different beings, but a lot of it was through Orions. As the Orions at one time had a positive force here, or presence, probably a better word for that. But once again, when the Orion Wars began, Earth lost itself. And more of it got, yes, to a darker vibration. Where the Wirans, even the Wirans became toxic themselves. They always have difficulties, yes, in their growth. So they brought a lot of their problems here. One of the reasons why Africa is not exactly the safest place. A lot of Wirans are there. It's not just reptilian. The Wirans are protecting Egypt, but Egypt isn't exactly the, you can't exactly, I mean, yes, it's safe to a certain degree, but still it's very closed down. Because more of the lower dimensional Wyrens made themselves kings. They even made humans fearful of alien beings. Where in the beginning, it was very friendly. The Wyrens became poisoned and still are. They're still at war with each other. Similar to what you go through in Iraq, the Iraqi war. They have that in Wyran worlds at this time. Many of them, unfortunately. And some of you are from those places. So yes, the galactic history will still slowly be unwound on your planet. Not an easy history for people to take in either, because they feel like the Wyrens are just perfect, and a lot of them are. But with that perfection makes them egocentric. And yes, they like luxury, but they like others to pay for that luxury, as you have in your world. So you mimicked a lot of their ways, but not all of them. So there was a war here before any Orion being came to cause difficulties. There's already a divide here. So, and you're going through a deep healing at this time. Realize a lot of this is brought in little by little. These are deep wounds. These are not something to take lightly, really. Because when people hear this information, some people are on two different sides. So I feel like the Wyrens can do no wrong. And that is part of their problem. When they can take over worlds and feel there's nothing wrong with that, which is a very reptilian way. Or they have the same mentality as reptilians. So, and the Wyrens have taken advantage of very friendly reptilian beings. As many of you have had incarnations as a reptilian being. That's just a nice lizard, basically. And there's many of them. There's many where feline beings take advantage of that. Blessings. Blessings. Okay, greetings. All right, this is, I already forgot the name of this. 2021 transformation features here. All right, so this is, I'm kind of staying away from predictions, but this is going to be out there down the road. So, first predictions are going to be there down the road also. So, blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. We are the Tarians. Yes, you can visualize a blue light coming from your chakras, or your heart chakra, a chakra that you feel connected to. Normally, it's around the chest area. A blue light of energy is also there to clear your vibration. Now, you can use pink, greens, yellows, whatever that works for you. Basically, like visualize it. So it's like you visualize it and removing darkness from you. You have more of an idea who you are in a higher dimensional state of mind. I've seen the future. Of course, the future isn't completely clear at this time, as you're going to a new horizon of yourself. As you're getting more downloads of your future, it's time to see more of what you're capable of. Yes, your 2021 is a transition year. Yes, many companies will go away. Large ones. Very large ones. But not in droves. Little by little. In the next 5 years, I'll see a great deal of that as you transition to more of a lighter energy. You're actually making things easier for you. Same as like your cars are getting easier, or is more expensive, but They are becoming more simple. Well, to a degree. Why does it not have all that hard mechanics? It does, but it's more of a technology. It's just a different technology altogether. It doesn't have an archon energy connected to it anymore. And removing archon ideas, timelines, well, you have lived it. You can say almost like archon energies have a time limit. You see it in your technologies, even in your buildings. The skyscraper is an archon invention. So that's going to take some time to heal that. Now, obviously, you can clear the vibrations of it. Gargoyles and also your cathedrals are archon energies also. But they're also known to transform to more positive energy. You warn one form of it, and then you go to a more positive side of it. So you're going in more of a time of understanding yourselves on a higher dimensional level. Well, third dimension is now releasing you from their contracts. And many of you are here to, as you know, to bring in that change. A glow vibration of just feeling, I don't want using the word smart because you already are smart, but it's feeling smart about your reality instead of so much anger. Now, obviously, these things take time. Well, you feel like a time of bliss, but also you have the knowledge of like an Einstein. Now, you all have that, but you're not all meant to bring it in at this time. I mean, yeah, you can all access everything you want, but you have certain characteristics why you came in for where you are. So, I mean, think about it. When you get a download and like 20 other people get the same download and you're all in the same room and they're all saying the same words, it's like you're all talking in unison. That's a little strange, but it can happen. So you can say that's the way how music is. Even music can be done the same way too, where you can get musical download for an orchestra, and you never even practice or anything. All of a sudden, you just know the knowledge, you know the words, you know how to play it, and y'all just play it instantly without ever practicing or anything for that matter. So the idea is to have a more positive affection for society. Basically, instead of looking as humanity as a cesspool, as many are experiencing that, to just clear that energy out, basically, as you're doing right now. Humans that have that program of third dimension is from top to bottom. Now, obviously, many of you that are in awakened state have a portion of it to exist here, to have a job, to bathe yourself. You need things here to coexist with reality. But many of you like to just hit off on all of that and just get out of here and zip away. And we understand that. But you came here for specific reasons to heal those that are not exactly trapped in that reality, but are. It's just the earth needed it for its growth, and you all needed it too. Even if, who likes taking their medicine anyway? Does anybody enjoy medicine? And that's this planet. Yes, it tastes terrible. It's not always the best living conditions, but it's a world that is truly needed. But obviously, when you're going through your own tests, it's so hard to see it that way. It's just like, I'm ready to be. I don't want to be tested anymore. This hurts. That's the mentality of your collective here. It's like, if you're going to come in here, you need to know exactly how this place works, because most of the collective has a lot to learn, as they're unmasking themselves right now. So your future, yes, several years down the road of the things they're speaking of, or more than that. Basically, negativity is going to be released off your earth. Now, it's not going to happen easily, and some of you will have possibly even more mistakes that you're already connected to the fourth dimension, and some of you are going to connect even more to fourth dimension, where third dimension's like, you just can't seem to align with this reality anymore. I believe many of you are already going through this currently. So It's just the alignment. So anytime you feel like you're outside this earth is because you are. So the future as you're coming into is basically you're actually bringing more of your alien connections here even stronger year by year by year by year. You wonder why you're here. You know you're capable of great more than what you're living. But that vibration is coming into the earth. So the earth is feeling it. You've heard this before probably. Yeah, all of you are like, I know it sounds strange, but a blood vessel, you can say. But you all have a specific reason, a task to open up the puzzle that's been brought onto this world. You're putting the pieces together just with your energy alone. As how you see the world. How do you see the future? You see it bright with technologies, you feel it no suppression. That's a big deal because a lot of your society sees suppression all day. They see it as is their normal life is suppression. That's all they see. But they don't think anything of it. They're not realizing there's many agendas here that created that. But you realize also you're improving other societies also as you do this. But yes, the Earth has had enough, but not just yet. There's so much to learn. As you bring more fourth dimensional energies here, you're mastering fourth dimension yourself to help the third dimension reality. Now, you're better than anyone or anything like that. It's just that you're learning because some don't learn. They just, if you're snobbish about it, it's going to be difficult to learn. It's hard to really describe this, but it's just the more that you're here for others, the easier the transition will be. You'll get more downloads to assist others, but if you're all about yourself, service yourself, it's going to be very difficult. Well, could you live in a bubble? That bubble's going to be hard to burst. So, and there's different versions of service to self. Not always means a negative tension towards others. It's just you want to grow on your own and you're not really to share everyone. Now, that can also be used in a positive also, where you're just gathering all this information and then you give your download to everyone else eventually when the time is right. So actually quite a few are doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. The others they just want the information for themselves for ego purposes. So different ways of looking at that. So your future, yes, is a open book, you can say. But yes, many companies are going to be, your government currently is in a transformation phase. Most likely in 10 years, you won't be able to recognize it. Now, between now and then, you might see transitions of where, oh, it's not like it used to be anymore. Voting is a good version of that. Government plays a big role in allowing transition to fourth dimension, actually, because you gave the keys to the kingdom to them, and now you're taking the keys back. But to get it back is be yourself. And that's difficult, especially when you're public. You're in the public, when the public realize that you exist. Some will hide, others won't. And that's okay. As when you get attention, what you are doing, because right now the world kind of ignores it for now, but not forever. As you start realizing spiritual people on this level are here to stay. Blessings. Blessings. The Tarians. All right, they've been kind of erased from history, so blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. We are, yes, the Tarians. Greetings to your civilization. Yes, we are of beings of magic. We are what you call a normal society, what your former society used to be, and got erased by history to create your modern world. Yes, we are mostly in Russia at this time, but part of us is in Iran. That is correct. Some of us are in China at this time, but it's mostly Japan at this moment. As basically there was during World War II, almost you say a genocidal push to erase our existence. As yes, we are former Atlantean energies, and yes, we were around for thousands of years. And of course, even during our time, there was a race, us being erased all through our existence. We were pushed out. So Genghis Khan is part of our energy also for unity from the old energies into the new, and clearing out the old vibrations, those that are do not want to evolve. So your world's always into an evolving energy. And to even Genghis Khan, it seemed as like a game. It was one that he felt like he could win, and he did. But your planet, yes, is or your society elite has a reason why we have been erased from history. Is because we can tell much more about you and your stars and your connections and many more things. As we have been erased for various reasons, for all reasons, as yes, we can erase the old energies that you're in today. Basically, yes, it went through a control grid, and there's no communication. You can say our energies are actually connected to the internet, or we be allowed to be remembered once again. So we play a role in how you look. Yes, our time comes with, you can say, more style. You can say more respect for each other that you have been told not to do anymore, because society has been taken over by our enemies. As you know, as technology is brought into the world, that was basically our exit point, as us being erased from history. So there's another war that has not been mentioned to keep us out of your society. And yes, of course, the Nazi symbol is part of our energy, but not for world domination, as there's it. So they took our symbol and used it for darkness. It was never for darkness in the past. So yes, we have been, you could say, I guess the best word is erased. We want to use other words, but we want to keep this. Basically, genocide was used against us. So it wasn't just against one race of people. It was against many during World War II. This history tells you a different story. Us in Russia at this time, yes, are aware of our past, but nobody's listening. We get some messages out, but most of us forgotten. The old world has been, the history books, you can say, won. And I wouldn't say we lost, but we haven't lost yet. Iran, of course, is seen as a villain, but that's not exactly the idea. Yes, they're not an easy state, but they're not the villain of your world. They're just seen that way. Manufactured to be that way, as they have many answers that are not being brought into your reality. As Iran is a place of releasing the foolishness of the world, but suppressed for many reasons. Once again, it's not a perfect state, far from it. It still goes through its own darkness. It still has a lot to learn within itself. But it still has a lot of knowledge that is trying to be erased at this time. Even in your time. So as you look more into this energy, yes, we are also very connected to your Asia, of course. Once again, it's mostly Japan. Indonesia, mostly Japan. As it is a place of just focus on your work, not focus on anything else. Even Japan was seen as a lot of, even now, but mostly in the past, at least recorded, a lot of technologies of the world, bringing technologies from all different places. A lot of it came from Asia, a lot of it came from China, from Japan. Or even China to a degree. China degraded everything. Not that the people are there to do it, but just the regime itself wanted to do it. So, yes, there's a lot of positives and negatives. There's to suppress, of course. There is an elite in China that does not really want freedom overall. But there's a war going on, a war of information. And unfortunately, there's much censorship going on, but the world still has a lot to heal. There's a dagger in the earth at this time. as there always has been. But now that you have media and knowledge right in front of you, now it's time to take the knowledge that's been erased to bring it back. As our people, yes, we're not perfect, but we are more advanced spiritually, as much as that has been revoked from your current reality. That's why some beings can do what they can do. Of course, we've been hidden by history for obvious reasons. We're a threat to the modern agenda. As technology was brought in, because much of that technology is due to us also. But we have been erased, of course. Alright, rings. Okay, this is ancient cities. Timeline shift in ancient cities. Okay, I'm gonna do the Syrian connection. Continue that. So, Redmond. So, lessons. Here we go. Greetings to you. This is Redmond. Yes, much of your ancient cities have technologies that's been buried. Advanced technologies, maybe not the advanced technologies that you're fantasizing about or dreaming about, but then again, there is truth to some of that. As an alien vibration that is here, that even you as modern humans, at least what you're told, you're actually erased from the history, as you know. Every generation, history is erased. So it gives them time to hide things or remove it or whatever it might be. I mean, who runs the archaeology to begin with? So your elites, normally. Not always, but just like everything else, mainstream anything, your elites are running the show. So of course they've hidden a great amount of detail of your past for their own good, for their own selves. And that's to keep you from your power. And a lot of its underground bases is in different places. It's not really that important. But as you realize, tapping into the ancient times is another way of reawakening yourselves. A time where things were simpler to a degree. They were complicated, but they obviously is not always mentioned because health, yes, was difficult, but different type of health crises happened. So, meaning that a lot of humans, their teeth were actually in good shape, but they had illnesses from other parts of their body. And then things shifted. So, without going into further detail, it's not that important. But what matters is that what you connect to the past, what is speaking to you? What is your heart saying about the ancient world? As yes, there was magic during those time frames also, which is another thing not mentioned. And a lot of the magic tools are left in that dimension. So a lot of the ancient sites were of a fourth dimensional energy. Even if they weren't high advanced, they're still very magical in their own way. This modern world is still magical, but a lot of things have been removed, as you can see. So, yeah, the ancient Atlanteans also still continued in your world. Many went to Agartha, but not all of them. Many of them are part of the cities that were created. Even London has an ancient Atlantean energy connected to it, called the Druids. So nothing really disappeared. And the Druids were hunted too. The Atlanteans were on the run a lot of times. Those that went against the opposition. Of course, there a darker side that was more part of your other groups, of your Philistines, actually. So as you go further into the depths of your existence, You're going to be mapping out more of who you are, like the map of yourself, your ancient self. There's a lot more understanding there. So there's also cube energies. You look at ancient times, the cube form, you even have the Rubik's Cube, is another form of magic, even in your modern day. It might seem like it's nothing, like a toy, but not really. That's how your elites, it's like how they see things. They, yes, have all the colors like a Rubik's Cube, and then they move things around. It's like, this is how things should be, and then they shift it, like a maze. So the cube plays a big role in understanding of your awakening. These objects, and they put them out in front of you so you can see. Yeah, mother box technology, but it goes into Metatron's box also. The box itself contains a lot of manipulative energies. And it's been done through many ages. There's always an object to control society, as is done in your fiction. But you have money that's controlling your society today. So it is possible. Even in the structures of what you live in, it's kind of a controlling energy. Even the shape of it is a controlling energy. You look at the buildings in your New York City, they're all skyscraper buildings, a controlling energy. Why can't they all be shapes and sizes? They're kind of, but they're usually in the box form. Why? Because that's a controlling energy. In your ancient times, they didn't have skyscrapers. I don't believe many of you have seen any. There might have been some here and there, but mostly it was more artistic. And that is what you need today. Now, people are putting paintings on buildings that are very stale and uninteresting. And that's adding a vibrant color through it. All right, greetings. All right, this is Libya. Blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. We are the Atlanteans. Libya, yes, is another place of knowledge that has been hidden for various reasons, as there was a different type of people that was invented there. Those that also can be very tall, even 10, 12 feet tall. It's another place of giants, one of them. Now, I don't believe giants have been found there, but there is giant energies connected to that place of Africa. And giants, yes, have been known to protect certain places, such as your Anunnaki. Giants were invented for various reasons, but it is true that Enki did go underwater and also underground to do his work for the human experiment. Also to understand how humans would deal with the waters also. To handle ocean waters, how much to breathe. Those who can't breathe that much underwater. But there are also versions of human where you can breathe very much in water. So think of like yourself being advanced, where you can, yes, run very fast, breathe underwater for a long time, fly. Now, you would call it superhero, but for Atlanteans, you call that normal. And this wasn't just for certain people, this is for everybody. That they call themselves human. So why do you think people are so attracted to that superhero energy? Of course, because that's what you are capable of. And it goes much more to than that. There are some beings that do have like power abilities that can go wrong, where yes, you can suck the energy from others, where people can't touch you. It does happen. Like some people have illnesses, but there's also a cure to that too. You can actually remove an illness by somebody that can do that. So yeah, power abilities fluctuate within the person. Not everybody has to breathe underwater for a long time, but there is just powers do change within each person. Libya is one place of where there's very super powered people at one time. You can say that was around the world, but Libya was a strong focal point of the experiment. Once again, all this has been erased from history for obvious reasons. And we're talking about regular humans. We're not talking about Atlantean energies at this time. Now, you're not regular, but just to understand. So you're deactivated for various reasons. Yes, you could handle it, but just various reasons. I believe it's already been mentioned, which isn't that. Let's put it this way. There are places in the world that have secrets that can be resurrected. Libya is one of them. When you have a free-thinking society, yes, they will get conquered. Iraq was very corrupt, and they knew something was more going on with the human than has been mentioned. But they're so corrupt. It's only for the mighty. Libya, on the other side of it, was in the process of discovering much about human, society, how much you can grow. Now, there's no closure. I mean, Libya was all on its own. Now, there's other places that can do the same, but a lot of them got shut down once again. Basically, some beings don't want you to know about yourselves. Now, understand on the internet how you get censored. You can also be censored by your society, as Libya went through itself. If you have a dictator, but a dictator that wants you to find more about yourself and connect to your God power, obviously there's other people out there that want that to occur. And that was Libya. Yes, it was opening up to itself, but it can also go further. It was more open to magicians and anything that was you call, as humans call, strange. To allow these things to truly show itself and even protect it. That right there is worth more than any money, but also terrifying for some, as you know. So, what's next? All right, greetings. This is the Amazon. Blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. We have the Orions. Amazon, yes. The Amazon River, even South America, is, yes, an alien vortex. There are actually many feline beings that were all around that area as seeding it. As your Egypt was being born, the felines took much of your reality into what it is today. Of course, the canines were involved also, but it was usually the feline being that was much involved as the headmaster of assisting humans in their growth. Yes, Anunnaki played a role in DNA, but feline beings, Tarian beings, and others, well, the feline, they're not going into full detail of where some of them are Orion, but there's various different beings. But the feline played a big role because you see felines statues and feline beings around your world, at least the tiger and lions, as they're part of the seed of your earth. So Africa was a place of main seeding point. Amazon was the next generation as it goes to your Americas, and went also into much of your Asia also. Amazon was just a place where a lot of things were hidden, of course, over time. But that was also a place of great birth, great creation. As you're going more into your foundations of who you are, seeing feline beings, a white lion, a white energy, different types of feline beings. Usually it's the white feline that was much involved. A lot of them are from Sirius. Basically, to help you preserve knowledge too, but also how to wipe it out. And that was done through the oceans. When the alien beings felt like the knowledge was no longer needed, it assisted that to be destroyed. Well, it's just that there are some primitive life people that were very advanced and others were not, and there was like a clearing of knowledge, you can say. It didn't always go so well. Where Amazon has a lot of temples of rebirth. You hear that word rebirth. It was also about like the fountain of youth was mentioned in Amazon energy. And still is. It just now has become is more protected now. As there is more of there's more tribes around to protect for obvious reasons. But even in our Asian energies, there's a lot of feline presence. Of course, there's different alien, there's all different types, of course. Once again, the feline and the canine normally work together, but the canine usually would be quieter, but still involved, as a feline, once again, took a lot of your knowledge around their world. South America is always going to be a place of hidden knowledge. It's always going to be a place of extraterrestrial histories for various reasons. Now, is the human going to be able to reactivate this with your mind? That's up to you. You can't go to these places and just feel change. Just like Stonehenge, people feel change. But as you become more aware of who you are, this is another reason why some of you have not traveled, or traveling is not always the easiest. So why does this person get to travel and a person of awareness can't travel? Because some of you with awareness can travel and activate these sites. Now, obviously, it's not going to be activating where the whole world changes. But as you become more aware of yourself, you can do that. Meaning activate the knowledge that's been left there, especially in Egypt. Now, many people have been to Egypt. You don't see Egyptians flying in the sky or anything like that, or walking through walls. Much of it's been shut down for obvious reasons. But at the right time, with the right people, I say people, can reactivate these places easily, because once you have the blockages removed. So technically, you could fly around. Flight can be open so you can travel anywhere. But you also have a mission where you're at this time. And it's always good to have newcomers to connect to these places too. A new energy, like with the pyramids. Those that don't know about the histories of the earth or have an idea of it, they know what they're being told, and that's about it. Not aware of their own history with the earth. As everybody has history of the planet, no matter what. Some feel like they have very few, only one life, two life, but you'd be surprised how much. Most of it's extraterrestrial, but it goes much deeper than that. So yes, as you go to these places, you're activating these places also, little by little. I mean, right now you're activating. No matter, even if you go to your family's home, you're activating the energies there too. And of course, other family members there to shut it down. So it's activating and deactivating going on constantly. Especially with the pyramids in Giza, and especially the pyramids in Mexico. Mexico is going to have a different energy always. It's just by a different tribe altogether. It's the Aztecians, as you can call them, had a way of activating the water also, so where you can actually breathe underwater easily. Now, Egyptians had a different energy, and Egyptians were more about flying, humans flying. Of course, you don't have that here. You don't have hieroglyphs of people flying. But at one time, that was the case. You just have different energy fields where you do different things. So, and yes, talk to the fish, go into the water, talk to the fish. And the humans, even your average human isn't aware of those, can do the same thing. So they're not average humans, they're just not ready for their own power. That's all. Okay, greetings. Okay, this is the Atlantean circle. So blessings. Here we go. Greetings to you. We are the Atlanteans. There is a long line of growth you are doing at this time to define yourselves as Atlantean beings, as your source energy of the building blocks of who you are. Some would say you're an Anunnaki being, but that's the form that you are today. That is the human form of the modern era. But yes, of course, it's not all Anunnaki. There are other beings that are involved. You have your animal livestock that's very connected to you, the mouse, the pig, etc., even the bird. So you're connected to all these animals, and of course, it's the distinction between you and them become more clear. Like, I guess, having a conversation with a talking pig, but also time traveling energies that many of you are accessing at this time. As you have the ability to slow down and speed up time, you might not be fully aware of it at this time, and much of it happens on a grand scale. Now, you might not, your energy, some of you, most of you, energy just does it automatically. Especially when you look at your watch, it's like, man, time is not flying at all. And at times, time does fly. But it's basically your perception of reality. Sometimes you need things to go quicker, but you are moving faster also. You're just not aware of it. So all of you live in your own little time jumps, your own little realities. I won't call it little, but you're all living your own kind of universe, which is connected to other realities constantly. That's where a lot of your ideas come from. They come from other versions of Earth. Other versions that were always aware. Many of us at a higher level of consciousness were fully aware. It is basically you bring in the best bits, or the bits information that you want for this reality. You see that in your fiction, you see that in your music, you even see it in your politics. Some have difficulty seeing that. Some of your laws come from other planets, and you change it here. So they're always pulling from different realities, and other realities are pulling from your reality. So yes, there's a control system here currently that you're still healing. So the Atlantean circle has to be about your DNA on a massive level. Basically, you are connected to the Earth in a way where the Earth is you and you are the Earth. You're both the same being. To go further into that, you're stepping out of the human form. Yes, you might see yourself as human, but also you're going to more of a galactic being that connects more with the Earth. As some of you connect very much with what you call the unicorn. Unicorn and much of your Garthian energies are very parts of your building blocks of who you are today. Now, not everybody agrees with that. Many have their own perceptions. Some are, yes, connected to a different reality altogether. Some are connected to a reality where they know everything. And that is pretty widespread, actually. There's quite many beings that feel like they know everything, but in truth, nothing is fully known. So that is what a lot of healing has to be done. Well, some beings want to feel like they know everything, and their reality starts to fall apart. So why does this happen? Why is that happening? Well, because you don't know everything. That's why. But we do know everything, but that's not exactly the truth. There's just a lot of growth that has to be done there. And the more that you are open to new ideas, the more that you grow. The more that you feel like you have all the answers, the difficulty it is to grow. You actually stunt your growth. But that is your process, or the individual's process, we'll say. Yeah, some that act like know-it-alls and all that, they've actually slowed down their growth in this reality. Meaning they've learned all they can learn. To them, the reality they built around themselves is the reality that they're going to live in. And that's it. And they're going to live that through the rest of their lives, usually, or the rest of their life on that planet. It's like they put a stop to their own internal growth, even if it's a spiritual growth. Some spiritually do not want to go past a certain line. There are many of you that want to just keep growing, keep allowing new things to come through. And it's overwhelming for others. Some want to just, an X is an X and that is it. But there's more to it than that. Such as they have definitions of certain alien beings, and alien beings, everybody has a different thousands and thousands of different definitions. Everything goes on forever. It's just basically your Earth is very fluid, meaning it's more open than you might realize. Some people feel like they're going to get it wrong with a connection, like connecting to alien beings. Oh, this is going to be wrong, but not, no. That's your point of view, and that's very powerful. Accept your point of view is the hardest thing, because you're always, some are looking around to say, am I doing this right? And you are doing it right. It just, getting used to that is very difficult. And that's the amazement of this planet, the difficulty also. Humanity has been living in a mindset of only a few people, really, that call this reality. But those few people have a lot of power. So they made their reality your reality. And many of you are here to chisel that away and expand upon it. And if people have done this also with drugs, meaning like cures for drugs, they found alternative methods of cure for drugs, but the naysayers say, no, you can't do that, when actually the alternative method does work. So some of you are doing the same thing with reality. You're allowing another reality to come in, where others are going to, yeah, see, that's wrong. You can't do that. You can't talk to aliens. You can't talk to anybody. You can't talk to spirit. But maybe it's saying, move aside. So that's what you're doing. You're opening up the mind's eye into a new direction.